Hello friends, and welcome to a cozy reading journal update. So we're going to be updating my journal with some reading spreads with a couple of the books that I've been reading lately, but we're going for a late night cozy vibe this time. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this kind of different style video. So if you're new here, then hello, my name is Lizzie, and if you're not new here, then of course welcome back as always. I'm very excited to be making some more reading spreads. I feel like it's been quite a while, but I have been reading a ton, so I still have plenty of other reading spreads I need to be catching up on. Now, in one of my last videos, I was talking about how I was thinking about putting two books, like if they were similar, on the same spread. So I'm going to be trying that out today. So I will technically be doing 4 books, but I'm going to be doing 2 full spreads to kind of show them. And they are absolutely opposite ends of the aesthetics. So this spread, as you can see, is very dark, gothic and fantasy based, whereas the next one is going to be the complete opposite of that. So whatever your aesthetic is, there's probably going to be something for you either way. So this first spread is going to be about the Ever King and the Ever Queen by L.J. Andrews, and it's been on my TBR for quite a while. A lot of people who read the same books as me have really enjoyed this series, so I figured why not give it a go. And it's a fantasy based book which is also kind of like a pirate theme, so it's kind of set on the sea, and I will say I have been enjoying the pirate fantasies lately. So if you do have any book recommendations of fantasy piratey books, please put them down in the comments below, because I'm always down for adding even more books to my never-ending TBR. And yeah, this one I actually really enjoyed. Apparently there is another 2 books in this series which are kind of like a prequel, but you don't have to have read them to read this duology. So I kind of skipped those and went straight into these 2. I really enjoyed the main characters. So we have like a very grumpy main character, and he essentially goes and steals a princess from one of the other lands. So that's kind of where it all begins, and then obviously they start to fall in love and such. And just to let you know as well, if you're new to my videos, I do not give spoilers, so please do not worry about that. I'm not going to be giving anything away. It was definitely a bit of a spicy book, but I don't mind that. I quite enjoy that. And yeah, the romance was enemies to lovers, a slow burn, but then it eventually turns into like a full-on touch her and die situation. So I really enjoyed the whole progression of that. The first book is obviously mainly focused on their relationship and going from enemies to lovers, whereas the second book, The Ever Queen, we then get to see more of the like entire world and get to know more of the other kingdoms, because the 2 main characters are basically on opposite kingdoms. So we have like the Eversea, and then we have the land folk. There is a ton of different names in this book, and they all have lots of different names for their magics and the type of places they are from. So it took a little bit of getting used to what everybody is called. And also, a side note, one of the characters in this book is called Mira. And why is every woman in every like fantasy book called Mira? Because in A Dawn of Onyx there was also Mira, and then in Fourth Wing series there is also a Mira. So I feel like I've come across this name quite a lot. And for the spread I wanted to go with a gothic theme to kind of go with the vibe of the book. I will say that the majority of these stickers are from Journal Say, so the rose stickers, the gold letter stickers, the black holographic washi tape, the gold key stickers, and the big rose black sticker as well, and the window sticker. They are all from Journal Say, because whenever I choose things from Journal Say, I always pick things with reading journal spreads in mind. So I do have an affiliate code that you can use, and I will link all the items down below, and I do have stationery hauls of all those things as well on my channel if you want to see me unbox all of those goodies. But yeah, I'm really happy with this spread, and I also read the next book in the series, which is The Mist Thief, and I really enjoyed that book. I probably enjoyed it more than the first two, and I do know that it is going to continue as a series following different couples, so I am going to read that when those books come out in the future. So now going on to a completely different genre and aesthetics. I had a little time in February where I was reading some romance novels. Obviously, February seems to be the best time to do that, with it being Valentine's and all. I recently read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood and absolutely loved it, but I'm not going to do that book in this reading update. I will be doing that in the future because I have bought some stationery specific for that spread because I am obsessed with that book, so much so that I even listened to the audiobook like 2 weeks after finishing it, so I'll talk about more on that later. So because I enjoyed it so much, I wanted to try out some of her other books, so I went with a couple of her most recent ones and ones that seemed to be quite popular on Goodreads. So I read The Love Hypothesis and Not in Love, and these were actually my first romance, like purely romance, because obviously I've been reading a lot of romantasy. And these were just such fun reads. They were so easy to read and I just flew through them. I feel like Ali Hazelwood is such a good writer. She has such a good sense of humour and she writes all the spy scenes so nice, and yeah, I'm just a huge fan of her now. I have read Bride by her in the past, which is obviously her fantasy book, and I didn't love it, but I think I just didn't love the characters, which is why I kind of didn't get behind it. But with all of these, it's a totally different story. I am very much happy that I read these, but yeah, nothing compares to Deep End. That is my favourite read of the year so far. So she is also, I think, a scientist or an engineer, so all of her books are usually based around STEM subjects or scientists, women in science, which is really nice to see and refreshing. So The Love Hypothesis is basically about a girl called Olive who is studying at Stanford, and she essentially starts fake dating one of the professors there for the most ridiculous reason ever. I won't go into it, obviously, but yeah, I was like, why are you doing that? But anyway, I really enjoyed the story and it was a really nice read to just see how their romance became more realistic, obviously because they were fake dating. And then I read Not in Love, which I think was a more recent one, and that follows Eli and Rue, who basically meet one night as they were planning to go on a date or just like spend a night together, and then the next day they bump into each other at work because Eli's company is taking over Rue's company and she works in like technology. He is kind of like the bad guy, if you like, at first because he's taking over their company, but then they start dating in secret and then obviously slowly fall in love with each other, and it's a he falls first, which was very fun to read. So for the spread I wanted to make it very pink, very romantic, and the washi tape is from Maragona Art. I tried to add lots on because I noticed that I'd used a lot of quite plain paper, so it was looking very plain and white. And then I had some of these little squares that I'd cut out from some old maths paper, and I figured it went with the science theme. I wish I had some sciencey stickers that I could have used for this, but instead obviously I went with lots of pink. The pink flower stickers, like every single one, is from Journal Say. And I have been really enjoying the fact that I included 2 books into one spread. It definitely felt a lot less overwhelming when deciding how to decorate, and it's good for when I don't have like a ton of stuff I want to write. But then, as I said, for Deep End, I will do a whole spread about it because I have a lot to say. And then the next book in the Ever Seas series, I will probably do a whole spread about as well because it was my favourite in this series so far. So yeah, doing the double up spread is just a good way to kind of not take up as much space and just give myself a little bit more creative freedom within the spread. I would love to know if you kind of like squeeze certain books or certain books in a similar series into one spread in your reading journal. I have seen people do this before. I also really enjoyed using the letter stickers. I just feel like it's a lot nicer to have the titles looking a bit different rather than me just like typing them all the time. So I ended up writing my thoughts in my journal, as in I'm not writing like a really intellectual book review, I'm just writing my silly thoughts about the book essentially, and it's just always nice to look back on, and I write a little bit about the plot in case I forget anything that happened in the book. But I'm so happy with how these spreads turned out. I really enjoy making reading journal spreads and trying to match them to the book where possible. I feel like it's kind of a good challenge and it pushes me creatively. So I hope you have enjoyed this cozy nighttime journaling session today. And if you have and you want to see more like this in the future, then let me know in the comments. And if you have made it to the end, then you should definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video.